Hey, what's up, everybody? BDO44 coming at you with another video. All right, so let's talk Pelicans and Lakers tonight. Well, today. That game's going to be at 6 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Pacific. I don't think I've seen a single game scheduled at 3 o'clock any time in the last several years. Not for the Lakers. Not at that specific hour. Not at all. But nevertheless, that's what we got here today in New Orleans. And it's going to be an interesting situation because the New Orleans Pelicans are on a 10-game losing streak. This is something I was not aware of. I'd heard rumblings about them struggling. I did not know it was to that degree. And what I looked at and saw was a combination of a couple of things. One, way too many injuries. Man, have they had turnover on their roster. I'm talking Bi, Zion, um, you know, Dyson Daniels is now out. There's been a lot of injuries in and out of this situation. Um, and another problem that I think that they have is because Zion and Bi are out, there's no really real point guard on the floor. Now, obviously, you guys are probably looking at me saying neither one of those guys are point guards. Of course not. But what they are players who can accumulate assists for one another and others. They keep continuity, and most importantly, they just draw defenses away from other players. Without Bi and without Zion, this team doesn't really have anybody to go to that can help make everybody else go. There's no Lonzo Ball. There's uh, no facilitating entity on this team that you can count on consistently at all without those two on the floor. So that's what they've kind of run into. Bi is now back from injury, however, and has worked his way back into the equation a little bit after struggling initially coming back. So this is a team, as you've heard, with a 10-game losing streak, the struggles are going to be very glaring. Um, for me, it's just the assists. They're not accumulating enough assists as a team. Granted, we average like a fraction of assists more at 24 a piece, but I think just for what it is that they need to do, they don't have enough going on continuity wise to make what they're doing make sense. And then on the other side, the pieces just don't fit. They're supposed to rotate around Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson. So if you remove those pieces, you literally have a team that's not even meant to be on the floor with one another. So that's what it is. They're trying to make it work. They're trying to scrounge something out of nothing, but they really do have a bunch of guys that are just looking for their own shot most of the time, and that's what they have. Um, but they have deadly players in that situation, and they also got some key defenders that you need to respect, size like crazy and stuff like that. Without Zion Williamson, and I think the most important thing in the world for the New Orleans Pelicans at this point is to try to make a trade to bring them that facilitator or to bring them another player that can help them with some of the things that ultimately will allow them to win games without those players being on the floor. I heard them being connected to um, OG Anunoby, which is a player that I also hear Memphis and them are fighting over. So we'll see how that goes. But they also have some other options as well that they can try to get involved in, especially given the fact that big trades seem to be looming with Kyrie Irving's trade demand now in place. I would imagine the New Orleans Pelicans should be fielding phone calls for some of the pieces that they have that they ultimately should be wanting to get rid of. Now, who that may be, I'm not a fan, so I don't follow their team well enough to know who I should want to get rid of. But just looking at it on paper, I think they could afford to get rid of guys like Devontae Graham, possibly. I look at a guy on the back of the bench like Kira Lewis, a couple other guys that I think have some upside that they're just not using. So that would be kind of the way to go to try to retool and maybe make their team a little better. They definitely have some front court help there with Jones, who we'll have to deal with tonight. Herb Jones now back from injury as well. Obviously, if you know of Herb Jones, you know he's infamous for blocking three-point shots and catching lobs and hitting threes himself and just doing things that are really, really spectacular in nature with his length. Um, and he should help. Again, when we talk about injuries, that's a piece that I didn't consider as well when thinking about how important it is for them to have certain things on the floor. Without Herb Jones, it's hard to win. So him and Bi coming back is going to make them a much better basketball team. And with them now getting back healthy, you can expect them to have a good game tonight, both of them. So Valanciunas is a player that we always mention when we talk about this team. You got to understand, even if they're not playing well, they still got a big entity on the floor that can rebound. He got 9 offensive rebounds against the Dallas Mavericks, which is not unexpected given the fact that they don't really have a center themselves outside of Christian Wood. So a guy like that's going to eat against them. But I don't expect him to have that type of success against us, with Anthony Davis expected to be probable tonight. So there's going to be a situation where I don't want Anthony having to bang up against this dude, but I don't think that we can put Thomas Bryant on him and expect anything good to happen because we know Thomas don't play no damn defense. frustrates me. But we definitely can count on Thomas to hit shots, so we need to feed him and feed him often, especially when AD's not on the floor. The fact that we phased him out of the lineup is a head scratcher to me. So when I say we need to do this, I think we need to, but I don't expect us to. Same with the Wenyen Gabriel situation. Obviously, we know Wenyen Gabriel's been removed from the lineup entirely, much to our chagrin. We do not like this at all. We talk about it every time. We're a much better team with him on the floor, and we're a much worse team without him on the floor for most nights. So, yeah, that's really all there is to it. I'm looking forward to seeing him get his playing time back, or us moving on from him so he can continue his career in the trajectory that he was before we made the Hachimura trade. Because I like where he was at for us, and there's no sense in him rotting on the back of the bench like he cannot play. So these are the type of things I'm looking at. Lonnie Walker has not had a great return from his injury, but, it's just like any other player coming back from injury. They got to work off the rust. They got to get back in shape. And so forcing him to get out there and jump around and shoot and all that stuff has just been a failure for us, and we shouldn't have done it. We should have worked him into the equation a bit more slowly. I felt the same about Rui Hachimura, even though he's been giving us double digits, and it's really been helping us on the boards and things of that nature. We still have to work him into the equation, and a lot of times we're throwing the possessions away doing so, unnecessarily keeping the game close in games that we must win. Now, normally, if seasons were going differently, if we had an entirely different circumstance, if this was earlier in the season, if we were up 10 games in the standings in fourth place or something like that, this would not be the concern. But the fact that we're in this position and we're still behaving as if we're not is concerning. We are making games closer by way of strategy and by way of working people into the equation. And I'm very much concerned we're going to be fighting to the end in regards to getting into the play-in tournament because of it. So, we were very lucky to win the game against the New York Knicks. This is one of those situations where we're coming off against the Pacers. We didn't feel like we won that game, but we got out of there with a 1-point win. And it's just one of those situations that is, if Anthony Davis didn't hit the shot over Turner in regards to a fadeaway down the stretch of regulation, we definitely don't win that game. If he doesn't block the shot following that to seal the game and get the rebound off of that blocked shot, we don't win the game. Like, these are things he did that ultimately saved us from ourselves because we did so much wrong in that Pacer game. It almost felt like a loss. It did feel like a loss that we won. So I was happy to get the win, but I wasn't much happy about anything else. Patrick Beverley played well, but we leaned on him unnecessarily, as I always say. Why are we even doing that? It's unnecessary. But we did it. We gave him a bunch of shots, and he was heroic in the process. So we made life hard for ourselves, and he helped us through the circumstance we created. So we were very pleased about all that. Russell Westbrook, we know. I told you guys what to expect from Russell. We didn't see anything other than what we thought we would see. He was 2 of 16 with a double-double on 10 assists and made 10 points out of a bunch of free throws also made. But it was a lot of 4 turnovers on top of those missed shots. It was just awful all the way around, with the exception of the passes that he gave us. So 10 assists accounts for a lot of points. We needed all of those points since we won by 1, right? What can we do? We live and die with him. So he's going to give to you what he wants to give you, and you're going to take it until you trade him. That's it. Manage him accordingly. So that's where we're at. Max Christie has also been removed from the rotation. Don't like that either. Especially since Austin Reeves is out. You would think we'd be trying to get Max worked in while those minutes are free. But nope, not us. Dennis Schroeder's been struggling these last couple of games, although we've been very happy with him overall lately. Hopefully he can snap out of that slump and continue to contribute on both sides. His assists are also very, very necessary, especially since we haven't been getting consistency from Russell. We need his assists to be up to make up for that. And if Russell's going to be leading and he stays, we're going to need him to make up for that playmaking as well. So I'm going to be looking at Dennis Schroeder to really be intentional, not only finding his own shot and helping us defensively, but continuing to run the agenda and trying to force feed the ball to Bron and AD. Rui Hachimura as well. We're going to feature him and get him his shots up. Since he's starting, I expected he should get 12 shots or so. And we should be intentional on letting him do his thing. It gets frustrating when he passes up opportunities to get assists. I want him to value the assist category just as much as he values the points, because that's what's going to make him his best self. I always tell you, you pass up opportunities to pass to your teammate. Yeah, they may brick the shot, but the pass that you don't make to them will ultimately make it so that you don't have as high a efficiency as you should have. And you pass up good opportunities to get easy buckets for other players. So I think players are misguided in their nature when they try to pass up opportunities to pass when they have like double team on them or or when a guy's contested, you want to force up a contested shot. That's not what's best for you. That's not what's going to make your scouts happy, and that's not what's going to get you a playing time. What's going to get you a playing time is doing like Bron does and making the correct play. So that's what I want to say to Rui Hachimura. Don't listen to people say, force feed, don't defer. If you read the floor and you see there's a pass to make the pass. Because at the end of the day, they're going to pull you off the floor for doing that very thing that they told you not to do, which was defer, not defer. Nonsense. Defer, bro. Definitely defer. AD and Bron, that's the pecking order on this team. So, and that's what I saw. You know, we made sure that AD got his touches. I believe he put up 27 shots. I think he got 31 points. Not his greatest shooting efficiency night. But you see, we won the game. You give him his touches, you're going to win the game. He's going to affect winning. And Bron's going to be able to get his on the side with no problem. 64 points away from Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, I believe it is. No, I think it was 61. If he gets that tonight, I would be surprised. I don't expect him to score no 61 points tonight. But we know he's probably 2 games or 1 game, 3 games away. It's going to happen very soon. So we're all looking forward to that taking place, celebrating and getting past it, honestly. And I'm sure he is too. Let's just get it done, get past it, so everybody can stop chattering about it. Everybody can stop placing it upon him, and we can start focusing on winning. I want us to get past this. But I'm actually looking forward to him breaking it. I'm not dreading it like I thought I would or have any bad feelings about him because of effort or nothing like that. He's been great. So let's just get this done, man. Let's celebrate it. Let's do the thing and get it done. You know what I mean? That's how I feel. I'd be happy if he gets it done tonight. If he gets 62 points tonight, I'll be the happiest person. I want this out of the way. But I know they want to do it at home. It's a lot of money to be made, so more power to everybody. And in the meantime, we got the Pelicans to deal with. Obviously, Brandon Ingram we're talking about. Obviously, we're talking about C.J. McCollum. These are big-time scorers, man. Just because they're on a 10-game winning streak, do not expect them, Larry Nance Jr., a couple ex-Lakers, to not look at this game and say, we ain't losing this one. Trust you me, Larry Nance Jr. is saying we ain't losing this one, and Brandon Ingram is telling you they're not losing this one. I already know. I don't need to hear nothing from them. I don't need to see no posts on IG, nothing. I know of those players. I know what they're thinking. They ain't want to lose this one. So that means they're going to have a big night, both of them. And we better be ready for that. C.J. McCollum, same thing. C.J. McCollum is a player with a lot of pride, man. They've been losing games like crazy. I don't suspect they're looking at this 10th game saying this is 11th loss. Not when you look at the Lakers the way we've been playing, not with the continuity issues and all that. This is probably the game they've been waiting to see to hopefully give themselves an opportunity to win, especially with Anthony Davis coming into the building. You know how they feel about AD. This is a big game. It's a momentum game. Even though this team that we're going up against is not playing well, we also know that they're a lot better than us when they're put it all together. They just are, man. And so that's what we got to respect. What they do need to do, in my opinion, though, is stop turning the ball over. From what I understand, the Pelicans are a team that turns the ball over a great deal, and that's something we're going to have to try to force. Steals tonight. Play some defensive players. Patrick Beverley, that's your number. We know it's going to be called all game long. I expect you to continue on the path to leading us to greatness. Because with 34 minutes in the last game and you playing well, we were happy. You know what I mean? What can I say? Maybe not happy with how you were used, but when are we ever? So we're going to expect for him, with Alvarado on the floor, to keep us all on our toes and looking for that dude as he continues to try to sneak around players and snatch inbound passes and get easy layups. Do not let him do it to you. We know he does it. We always warn you every single time we play the Pelicans. He never catches me off guard with that. Never. Alvarado, you will never catch me with that, bro. I'm always looking for it, and I'm always making sure my Lakers are looking for it. So that's one of them situations. I expect the Lakers to not be caught off guard by that. We got to shoot free throws better. We're the 16th overall free throw shooting team from what I read today. We can do better. It's better than we were last year, so we're happy with that. But we want to make sure that we value the meat and potatoes of basketball games. The second quarter, the third quarter, that's when we're winning. In the games, we put too much of an emphasis on what that actually means. We make life so easy for ourselves by dumbing it down, making the game so close till we get to the end of the games where our weaknesses are shown because we're not a good end-of-game team, not a good overtime team, when the strategy should be to blow teams out so that never even has to happen. And the only way I think we're going to have a chance to even do that against some teams is if we play to our size. Now, obviously, we don't have a size advantage against this team necessarily, but we can certainly flex some if we were to try Thomas Bryant and Rui Hachimura, Wenyen Gabriel, Anthony Davis, LeBron James, Max Christie, Troy Brown. Do you see what I'm saying? All these players that we have that are actually very tall, if we just leaned in on all of them for the majority of the game and just live whatever weaknesses and strengths that come with that unit, I'm pretty sure we would be in the end of games with heavier leads than we would ever have if we keep going with the small ball stuff. And we keep finding ourselves so close. No matter who we're playing against, we're in a dogfight. And it's because we do not value rebounding in size, and the NBA does as a whole. So every single night, you're going to be at a disadvantage. And this team does not have any lack of size. I'm telling you, Larry Nance Jr., we know him. Brandon Ingram is damn near 7 feet. Valanciunas is huge. Jackson Hayes is healthy. He's going to be out there. You know what I'm saying? As I said, Herb Jones, still available, no problem. A guy like Marshall, defensive player on the wing there. I really, really like what I see from him defensively. He's always a star on the defensive side of the ball. Najee Marshall. So please pay attention to Najee Marshall's defense. He's not to be toyed with at all on the defensive end. And the reason why I emphasize it so much is because I'm working into my own equation. Because I don't really look at him as anything other than a role player. But he does impress every time I see him. And so that's what I got to start realizing, that sometimes guys are just better than they've been played to be, and they've been stuck in these situations where you just think, Najee Marshall and the Pelicans. It's like, no, Najee has been developing, and as he's developed, you got to take him very seriously. So that's where we're at with Najee Marshall. Him, Herb, Alvarado. There's no reason for that team not to be good defensively. I don't know what they're doing, but they ain't doing it right. So that's what I want to say. And I like their coach a lot. So I'm not going to sit on this situation and say he's not doing enough. But it's just, I look at certain situations on their roster, I say, okay, Larry's my guy. But he should have never been acquired and given money to when you got Jackson Hayes to develop. That should have never happened. And then I look at the situation and I say, CJ McCollum. I like CJ McCollum a lot, but he's not doing anything for anybody else. If I'm the GM of that team, I'm shopping him. I don't need CJ McCollum. I love CJ McCollum as a player as it pertains to him killing it for me. But I also know he can get me a lot too. I could trade CJ McCollum to somewhere and get a haul for him and continue my process. Because when you're on a 10-game losing streak and he's healthy for the entire 10 games, that's when you know he doesn't affect winning the way you need him to. And that's for the amount that he takes up on the cap. No. And he'll probably drop 50 on us tonight because I said that. But that don't take away from nothing. Because at the end of the day, it comes down to, can he keep others involved when those two aren't on the floor? And will he lead to winning? And the answer is absolutely not. It hasn't happened. So, he walks away with like 3, 2 assists and stuff like that, but he gets like 20 shots up. That's not what they need. When their stars out, that's not what they need. So I'm a CJ game hater. I like CJ the guy, but his game, I don't like it. And I've told you guys that a couple times. I don't like CJ's game. I respect him as a weapon, but he be passing up open opportunities. It's like we were saying about Rui. He'd be passing up opportunities to get the ball to teammates in situations. I just feel like it's really, really easy on him to let it happen. Just let it happen, bro. Give them the ball, average 7 assists, and see, don't your team win more? But guys want to score, man. Everybody want to be Michael Jordan. So that is what it is, man. But I just don't think a guard's like that as a higher tier as some of these guys like Josh Giddey or, Lonzo when he's healthy. I would rather have those guys over a CJ who's tiered higher because I know they're gonna make everybody else better, and it's gonna give me that imbalance that overpowers the fact that they're scoring so much. You may have a killer there. You can definitely win games for you, but like I said, during the meat and potatoes, everybody else is better. My asset class as a whole is better because he's making them better. Give me one of those passers, man. Give me a Ricky Rubio. So that's kind of where my head is, and that's where their head should be. They need to trade C.J. McCollum for one of those pieces. That's a smart thing for them to do. If they can get, I don't know who it would be. Because the first name that came to mind was not a player you trade for. The second name that came to mind definitely ain't a player you trade for. I said Kyle Lowry and Chris Paul. I'm like, hell no. But that's the type of piece they need. They need somebody who can do those things those people do. And if they did that, they would get more out of the Kira Lewises, more out of the Jackson Hayeses, more out of everybody on that team. Trigger Murphy, of whom we got to be very careful about. He's been slumping, but I know what he can do. We got to be careful with these guys because if they do find that point guard piece, all those players' value go up. Trey Murphy, that's one of the best shooters in the game. He needs somebody to set him up, and he don't have it. They're not there. Alvarado's not going to do that. Kira Lewis, they ain't even using him. I don't even know if he does that. And we know for a fact Devontae Graham and CJ McCollum, they're twos. They're looking for their shot and their shot only. So this is what it comes down to. Because I understand this, I expect BI to have heavy assists tonight. He's back, and he knows what I said. That's one of the best basketball players on the planet. He knows that his team needs continuity. So if he's doing what he's supposed to be doing out there, he's probably going to try to pick us apart while doing his fadeaway stuff, driving to the lane, dunking the ball. But on other situations, he's going to be looking to get guys involved because he needs to. And you know who taught him how to be a facilitator? We did. Laker Nation, by having him run the point guard his very first couple of years as a Laker. We had him run it here and there. So, yeah, I know he can make the pass. I know he can get upwards of 10 assists if he has to, and he probably needs to if he wants to win this basketball game. So this is the situation, man. Look for Big B.I. He's been out there for a long time. Missed, 25 games? But he's been healthy for about 4. And they've been losing all of them. And I know that competitive fire in him is going to want to make this game a game they don't lose. We know what he can do. We saw what he did in the first round of the playoffs last year down the stretch of basketball games. He was basically the best player in the playoffs in the first round. So he's going to be shooting the ball, laying the ball up, all the stuff that he does at a very, very high level if he feels good enough to do it. So I don't know. If his health will allow it, he'll ball out. If he's not, maybe they even give him a scratch. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised to not see him too, given the fact his health has been as it is. But if they have any shot of beating us, they're going to need him to facilitate. Or somebody to. Alvarado or somebody going to have to pass the ball. Because the way they've been assisting, that's why they're losing. They can't get nothing out of each other. They're only looking for stuff for themselves. They ain't going to win that way. And so this is an opportunity where we got to take pride in this game, man. We got to do it for AD. Let's just keep it real. They removed this man's face from the Jumbotron before they even traded him. And we know damn well he was the best player they ever had. Still is. So as far as I can tell, this is a win we need to get. Last time we went into New Orleans, LeBron James smacked them around real good. I don't even remember how well it was, but he really mollywopped them. And it was fun to do. We need to go in there and do it again. Straight up, the New Orleans Pelicans, right now they're a team that we know, like I said, I think they're better than us. I said this is the team I thought was coming out of the West and all that, but they didn't put it together. They haven't developed the players on the back of the bench, just like I used to say about Brooklyn, how they didn't get Sharp and those guys right. Well, now they have. New Orleans the opposite, man. They need to develop these young players on the back of that bench that they're not using right. And from there, I'll start respecting them the way that I did before. But while these guys have been out with injury, they haven't been leaning on the development of their players. And they didn't move Devontae Graham, which is something they need to be trying to put on top of the priority list. So these are all things that I think they need to be on top of right now if they want to be serious about contending. And most importantly, if they want to be serious about keeping some of these players they have in place. Don't just assume that these contracts are just going to keep being signed by these guys. You may lose a Zion, you may lose a BI, and you may not matter. It may not matter because if they're injury prone, you might be better for it. I don't know. So these are the type of things you think about when you consider the New Orleans Pelicans, especially tonight when you're the Lakers going up against them. We're a lot more healthy than they are. Anthony Davis, LeBron James, he's considered day-to-day, I think, with the ankle as always. But I think there's a golden opportunity for the Lakers to come in here. Rui's been with the team a little bit, this tail end of the road trip. So it could be a little bit of jet lag type of thing where they're a little tired or whatever. But nevertheless, they should be focused because we cannot afford to lose any basketball games at this time. Rebounding is always important. We're 6th overall in rebounding in the league, so that's one of the things we want to give kudos to our team for. We want to keep that up. Guys like Troy Brown getting like 14 rebounds a couple days ago. Thomas Bryant pulling down 17 boards in one game. Anthony Davis, big boards. We got to give credit to the guys who've done it. Wynja and Gabriel, guys who aren't getting playing time right now. With Max Christie crashes the boards every time he gets in the game. Obviously, Russell Westbrook and his triple-double seeking. These are the type of things that contribute to us being one of the best rebounding teams in basketball, and we need to continue to flex that on this team that doesn't rebound the ball as good as they should, despite having so many big-body players. Those numbers are skewed by the fact those players were out, and some of them are back. So they're going to be a good rebounding team tonight. We need to be careful. Larry's going to pull down double-digit boards. Know that. Valanciunas, yes, it's happening. BI too. They all rebound, so we should definitely look to crash the glass tonight and try to force turnovers. Three-point shooting. This is the thing. This is going to be a very physical basketball game because they don't really shoot the three that much either. They only attempted, I think, 20 3-point shots in the last game, which was them displaying three-point shot discipline because they had only hit 5 of them. So I really respected how they approached that Dallas Maverick game, especially since it was in Dallas. You would think they want to shoot more, but they didn't. And even though they only lost by 6 or something like that. And I think that is a testament to them being careful not to shoot too many threes and continually getting in the paint on the Dallas Mavericks. I think they scored about 60-something points, 68 points in the paint on Dallas, if I'm not mistaken. So that's something we want to take a look at. We don't usually let teams do that to us, but we've had our nights where guys have gotten points in the paint, and we need to keep that from happening. Let's rejoice. There's no Zion to bang up against tonight. He did not decide to come back. At least that's what I last heard. He's not supposed to be listed to play tonight. But B.I. will be out there. No Dyson Daniels once again. So we're going to see a lot of, Alvarado. You will definitely see a lot of him. And he's been having some huge games, too. So do not be surprised if he has one of them star games out of the blue, because it's possible for that guy. But my eyes are on the ex-Lakers, man. My eyes are on the ex-Lakers. Ex-Lakers love to play against us. And we just need to be careful, man. B.I. and Larry. Watch them. Just keep an eye on them. And as far as everything else, man, it just comes down to C.J. McCollum. If he's jacking up shots, he's doing his thing. He can give you a 40-point game. He can drop 40. Don't let what I said earlier get it any twisted at all. That's an elite score, and a real killer. So he can close you. He can hit the last shot. B.I. can hit the last shot. All that stuff. We want to keep this game from being close if we can, and respect the fact that they haven't been scoring because of that lack of continuity. You can have all the best shooters in the world. If nobody's getting them the ball, everybody's thinking about themselves. It's just a bunch of people standing around waiting to get the ball and ain't getting it. And that's exactly what you have in New Orleans. So we need to take advantage of that, make them pay for that, and then try to get in transition and blow up everything that they're doing. So that's what I want to see, man. Feed Anthony Davis in the second half. You know what it is. If we don't feed him, we're probably not better for it in any way, shape, or form. We just got to get in the habit of feeding him. And I'm going to continue to tell us that, because if we lean on Bron, he's not going to affect winning in ways that he would like to. It's already been proven. It's not an emotional statement. It just is what it is. AD is the guy who's going to give us the victory. So we need to lean on him and let him do that for us. Let the young man do that for us. Just like Wade, let the young man do that for the Heat. It's your turn, Bron. Let the young man do that for the Lakers. It's only right. It's only right. So that's where I'm at with it, man. And if we do that and he stays healthy, he can lead us all the way to a championship. He literally can. He literally can. But it's about him staying healthy and about us being intent on reminding him of who he is each and every night. Because if you don't, he will forget. But not in this building. Not in the Smoothie King Arena. Because everybody in that building is going to make sure they remind him of who he is by booing him, which I suspect he's going to hear every time he touches the ball. But Laker Nation will be well represented, just like we always are on the road. So I know we're going to have a lot of people cheering him on as well. At the end of the day, Patrick's going to be out there screaming and hollering and yelling and running around, hopefully doing a lot. And we're just going to need to manage Russell Westbrook if we don't want him to cause us this victory, because at this point he knows he's going to be traded. So subbing him in is done at your own peril at this point. I'm just being honest. And so everything else, it's up to the effort, man. Hopefully we got Lonnie Walker coming back a little healthier, shaking off some of that rust. Hopefully Troy Brown can get back into the starting lineup, because we're better for having him out there. And the way he rebounded the ball 2 days ago, I don't know why the hell anybody would remove him from the starting lineup after a performance like that. Oh, yeah, because we gave up a couple picks for Rui Hachimura. So we must play him right away, even though that's not necessarily what we need him to do. Either way, if we want to lean on continuity, how about we lean on stuff that does work and start the process of that? I say it every video, whatever. Suspect we'll see small ball, four guard lineups tonight, since we must play Schroeder, Beverly, Westbrook, and of course Lonnie Walker. They all must get their minutes. So that means you're going to see 4 guard lineups, which means you're going to be down by 17 at some point in time in the game. What needs to happen, though, is us putting the size on the floor after that to immediately get us back in the game against a team that's probably going to have trouble scoring the ball against us when we play really good defense. So just overcome the inevitable deficit that's coming, Lakers, and we will be all right. It's clockwork. We do this every night. We will know what we have to do. So at the end of the day, that's what it is, man. My name is BDL44. I thank you all for watching. I'm out.